Is Time Stranger better than Cyber Sleuth? My highly opinionated take is no, it's really not. But is it better than Digimon Survive? Yeah, well, 100%. When I'm playing Time Stranger, I don't feel like a chump. I feel like I'm a part of the party. Like, it's not just a random college party I've had the misfortune to attend, but like a celebration of a close friend's anniversary. It feels like a celebration for all of us. It's obvious that the people who made this game loved it and they wanted to share the love that they had for what they were making. And witnessing that love feels good, exciting for the first time in a very long time. But it's not perfect. Sometimes it's even outright bad, so let me talk about it. First off, I booked time off to play this game. I did not put the controller down to do anything but eat, sleep, and shit when this game came out. I could not stop. I did not want to stop. I was enthralled. I needed to constantly get to the next part. I had to see the next cutscene. I needed to get to the next battle. This story was really fun for me. There were parts of the game that I was actually screaming out loud for. I don't scream for video games. I mean, at least not out of excitement. Like, I'll be screaming when I'm playing Silk Song, but that's because I'm about to lose all of my rosaries. But in Time Stranger, I was going ballistic because it was just so freaking cool. The special effects they used for those scenes were incredible. The climax of part 1 with Titamon especially felt like a scene straight out of a shonen anime, with that giant explosion that wipes everything out. And then I really thought we peaked with Grace Novamon and Jupitermon, but oh my god, when the Royal Knights came in with their remix theme, I really did lose it again, for like the 5th time throughout my entire playthrough. This is what I imagine 12-year-olds love about Transformers and shit like the explosions and the robots and everything. I felt like I was a kid. It was bombastic, it was exciting, it was just so freaking cool. I loved this game. That is, until I got to the ending. Now, I know it's supposed to be about the journey and not the destination, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, the journey was fantastic and a lot of fun, but the destination, it kind of robbed some of that fun from me. Now, I'm trying to figure out what it is that's so dissatisfying when it comes to the ending of Time Stranger, and I mean, I kind of already have an idea. It's the protagonist, not Aigiyamon, he's great, he's fantastic, but Inori, and then Yuki Kanan or Dan or whatever you name the agent. But Time Stranger exists as a story way beyond the scale of just the protagonist's role in it. It's the rest of the story and the characters and the actual gameplay that makes this game probably one of the best Digimon games ever, if not the best. So let me talk about it. All of it. The good bits, the bad bits, everything. But let me start with the best parts. All the stuff that had me jumping, screaming, shouting. All the stuff that had me feeling like a child again. For starters, the digital environments in this game are amazing. The digital world was my favorite part about previous games. It's why Digimon World 3 is so memorable. It's what I loved about Digimon World Dawn. The digital world is what I was looking forward to the most in Digimon Survive. Not getting to play it at all is what I hated the most about Cyber Sleuth. So finally, after what feels like decades, I get to finally enjoy actually exploring the digital world, and I loved it. And the best of them all, the best of any of the environments in this game, is absolutely Central Town. This is the absolute highlight of this game. That first moment when we walked into Central Town was amazing. I literally felt like a kid, and nothing else has done that for me ever since I've grown up. There were Digimon everywhere. This is what kids who love Narnia and Harry Potter would be obsessed with. This is what wonder looks like. I loved going through every inch of Central Town, talking to everyone, seeing how they operated in their little society, the structures they made and lived in. It has so much personality. When the story is progressing and developing, you can feel the atmosphere of the entire place change with the developments. I can feel their joy, their tension, their despair, and anger every single time I come by. It feels like a city I'm passing through, but it also feels like a city I want to protect. It's a treasure to me. And then when Mercurymon gives us that little apartment to use, it felt like I was no longer just an outsider looking in. Suddenly, it felt like Central Town was also mine. I felt welcome and a part of it. I felt important to it, like I was important to this town. It just feels so nice. It reminds me a lot of Digimon World 3's starting city. That was another city that just had so much personality to it. But in Time Stranger, the events of the game actually change how the Digimon behave throughout the story. Central Town is absolutely the peak environment of this game, no exceptions. It blows all of the other areas out of the water with its sheer liveliness. If the other zones are weak, it's because Central Town is unfairly strong. Now, the other zones aren't even that bad. The Gear Forest was sick and the Abyss Zone was awesome. I loved Factorial Town, especially once we did that timescape and they got that industrial beat going. That being said, while the cities themselves are vibrant and pretty, the actual gameplay in the maps was, something. I mean, they're really insubstantial when I stop to think about it. I mean, in the moment, it felt fine, so I don't knock it against the game because I actually enjoyed it a lot when playing it, and I was much more focused on the story itself than anything else. But going back, I would have actually liked more puzzle-based exploration than what we got. Like, when you're traveling between cities, you mostly just fight Digimon. Each zone does get a unique traversal mechanic, which is fine. The Palmon traversal section is really cute in the Gear Forest. I like that they have a little taxi service type thing to help you get around. On the other hand, the traversal mechanic in the Underworld zone is way too slow. Terrible, a huge drag, but also immensely funny. This frog is so disgusted by your heroic sentimentality that it actually pukes. The fact that their gagging teleports you into a different zone is hilarious. It's ridiculous. I love the sheer stupidity of it. In the most evil looking zone too, like when freaking Myotismon is in the background wandering around. It's amazing. It's goofy as all hell and completely unserious. It's really funny to me. Most of the other early maps are really dry to play though. I did like the one in the radio tower with the Hagurumon. But the Factorial Town zone and the Abyss zone traversals, they were boring. The Kokugawamon stuff and Submarinemon stuff was just not cute or charming or interesting, so those were really harder to like. As far as the zones go, the favorite of my dungeons here has got to be Junomon's Temple though. The prison escape section was definitely the best. It was the most fun. It had a lot of charming little scenes in it, and it was also like stressful as all hell. I loved it. Getting caught by Clavis Angemon actually had my heart pumping, but I think in a really bad way. It was good stuff. It's also really good that the villains return for this section. This one section does so much to endear you to the Titans over anything else in the game. I love that we were joining powers for this. It was surprisingly goofy and yet charming in the way that I find older RPGs to be. And Clavis Angemon added a lot to that feeling. This entire section felt like a Kingdom Hearts zone. He has a keyblade. It feels very Disney for some reason. It's cute. Junomon's dungeon is the zone that actually really felt like a proper dungeon. Now, I'm not saying like every RPG needs to have clever puzzles and stuff in their dungeons, but I do think it's more fun that way if they're well designed. They can break up the monotony of just doing nothing but battling, but maybe it's for the best that the puzzles and traversal was really simple. I mean, I think if I had to deal with nonsense puzzles like something from Tales of Symphonia, I would probably go crazy, so maybe it really is for the best that they're as simple as they are. Now, there's also the Cosmic Zones map. This one, while sick as hell in visuals, this was really strange to me. Like, actually playing through it, it felt undercooked in some ways. Like, something about this whole thing was not vibing. Something about this whole game actually feels unfinished, and the Cosmic Zones were kind of like the first indicator of that to me. My best guess is that there was a different plan for this dungeon, because it feels very, very weird as it is right now. Like, it's hard to really explain. I thought the goal was going to be like collect the seeds from each side of the dungeon and then flip to the opposite side of the dungeon. Then you can use the seeds to unlock more paths to go forward. Which is, I mean, when I think about it, yeah, that's kind of what the dungeon is right now. But the issue is with the way it is right now is that you have to return all the way to the entrance and then press a button to go to the other side. But then you start from the beginning of the other side every single time. I really thought you'd be able to flip the zones from inside the dungeon and it would like put you at a different spot on the other side. And then you go from that spot and you would kind of have to like reorient yourself and find a new way forward. Because I think that would have been more fun as a puzzle. It feels like that was the intention just based on the zone's design. But as it is right now, it just feels very disjointed. Like, the pacing gets totally disrupted when you gotta go all the way to the beginning, even if you only do it like twice. If I think about it though, maybe all the zones had more ambitious dungeon design planned out. As they are right now, most of the zones really are just bare bones. There are usually some obstacles in the area, and then you find some creature to help you through the obstacle. but it's not really engaging since you're mostly just moving from point A to B while fighting Digimon. The maps made guesswork mostly unnecessary, so any side paths and extra fights were purely optional and not really rewarding either in my opinion. Going off the beaten path usually didn't really give any sick attachments or any optional zone mini bosses either. So I think just like a few challenging optional bosses or spawns would have been really good to make it more exciting to explore. Or maybe like NPC Digimon that you can interact with, maybe mini quests you could pick up, places you can stop and have some dialogue with Inori or Aigiyomon. I loved all of the maps so much, so getting to explore them and be rewarded for it would have been just like a nice little bonus. I just want an excuse to spend more time in there. Like they're super pretty, but not all of the environments are awesome. Like the city, I don't know, it's just not very exciting to me. I also just recently played Cyber Sleuth before playing Time Stranger, so while the Shinjuku map is much bigger in Time Stranger, it's still just not super engaging. It's got some really good cutscenes though. The one where Greymon falls out of the sky is super cool. And then I also love the Misono home itself, the location being an old theater, your dad's office downstairs. It has a lot of charm. I did think there would be a lot more to see in the house though, or at least that I would get to cook. I really thought that like when Inori said we can use the kitchen, it was her setting up for letting me cook, like Persona 4 style. They literally have a grocery store outside. And dude, every single time you wake up there, Inori says there's breakfast, but we never get to fucking eat. Like not even like a cut to black cutscene with some dialogue boxes. But like, whatever, I guess. Probably a weird thing to be bitter about, but like, I wanted us to see what kind of food Aigiyomon liked and like cute little family cutscenes. Ugh, whatever. Back to the city itself, Shinjuku itself. I did enjoy wandering it the first time around. I think the fact that there wasn't too much to interact with kind of made it dull though. I really expected to find more quests like the quest with Ancient Wisemon. Like his subquest to find the lost Digimon was really good. I like that there's this mystique of Digimon being all around us pretending to be human. I just thought there would be more of that, especially since Ancient Wisemon itself, it comes to join you in the hotel. I kept going around the city hoping that other Digimon would show up to recruit to the hotel, but it never really happened. So maybe that's kind of why I'm so disappointed with Shinjuku. I kept expecting things that didn't exist, but that's kind of a theme with the Digimon games, so yeah. I probably would have enjoyed the city more if I knew that there was a sprint button. This was actually my major complaint of the game, that the zones where you couldn't digiride made the walking speed feel terrible. But then on hour 48 of my playthrough, just before I was going into the final battle, I accidentally held down the circle button on my controller and started running. I didn't know you could do this in this game for 48 hours. Oh my god, this was entirely my fault. Somehow I just missed this, but I will take back this complaint. But I cannot take back the pain of knowing I wasted so much time. Speaking of time wasters though, man, I spent a lot of time in menus during this game. I just have one simple question, like, why can't I digivolve directly from the farm? This is one thing Cyber Sleuth did way better, but I mean, on the flip side, Digimon Time Stranger lets you spend money to basically blitz a Digimon up to what level you want, so that is at least enormously useful. But that's also something I really didn't do until the end game, so not really relevant for like 90% of my playthrough. The farms and outer dungeons, these were mechanics I didn't really engage with much because they felt like kind of a drag, so I don't have much to say about them. And honestly, I was actually like really invested in the story of the game for once, so I didn't really want to waste time doing stuff that didn't really seem to make an impact on progression. That being said, maybe I would have paid to spend more time in the farms because the boss battles in this game, they were freaking hard. They were insanely difficult for me, and I wasn't like slacking on the grinding either, so I don't think I was underleveled, or at least not like significantly underleveled anyways. Parrotmon especially was really freaking hard. I think it took me like 10 minutes, and that's with maxed out animation speed and everything. And I didn't even beat it the first time around. I had to note down its weaknesses and rejigger my team composition, and it still took me like 10 minutes on the second try. Oh, I mean, I did enjoy having to think about my game plan, and like making a team to execute was fun. I guess my teams just weren't very effective though. I'm not a turn-based gamer much. I don't play them. My general strategy for Time Stranger was just find a mon that has strong elemental damage, support with spell boost, acceleration, then do them deeps, maybe using like, you know, Aigiyomon to attribute down stuff when possible. It was fun when it worked. It was a drag when it didn't, because I'm trying to rearrange my team, and that takes a lot of time if it doesn't work on the first attempt. Like, if a boss resisted Seraphimon's Fist of the 7 Stars, I mean, it was going to be a long one. This is where the farm mechanic did come in useful though, and getting another Digimon up to speed. Still, the menus to actually set up your team were not good, especially for the attachments. This was too retro, to put it gently. Dated, to put it more accurately. Attachments feel like it came from the freaking 90s. There really should have been like more sorting options or filters or something for the elements at least, and like a way to keep track of all the attachments that were assigned. The quality of this life in this game is really like phenomenal in some places when it comes to battles and quick travel and everything, but just a few more touches like this would have made it feel so, I don't know, like cohesive. Like the quality of life in this game is really inconsistent if anything. There are some other mechanics besides battling in this game. We actually get some mini games as well, like on the train with the side scroller type thing, and there are areas where you get to defend a point with the digitac thing. These are basically the same mini game. They were needed to break up the gameplay sameness for sure, but something more polished would have been good. The mechanics in these little mini games are really clunky, so I'm glad there aren't many sections like this. There's also the outer dungeons. I didn't engage with this. Maybe that's why I struggled so much with the story battles in this game. I just didn't pick up more rewards from these dungeons. Then as far as other mechanics go, the card battles, I really like this. I love the idea. I love the style. At first, I thought this was actually going to be bringing back the card battles from Digimon World 3. Since I loved those, I probably would have preferred that, to be honest. Just like a straight copy would have been perfectly fine with me. We got instead something else that was really cute and based on the original Digivices. It still works. I just wish there was more strategy to it. Yeah, weird thing to say considering I don't like strategy games, but like this one aspect probably needed a little bit more to it. I mean, unless I'm missing something here, the cards were just randomized from your deck, right? Like there was no custom deck building involved. I definitely would have loved to have seen some kind of deck building. That and like, I don't know, just like cosmetic differences, more Digivice colors or mods, maybe stickers on the enemy ones, maybe a way to customize the shell or the buttons, opportunities to trade, stuff like that. Actually really like this mechanic a lot, so I would have really loved to see more of this. I mean, I probably would have traded away some of the other mini games and stuff to flesh this one out instead. Because like the card battles that you have at the beginning of the game, they are pretty much identical to the ones you get to have at the end of the game. There wasn't any change in my strategy at all, which is like, it's unfortunate. I would have loved more depth in this mechanic specifically. I am grateful for what we did get, but I really wanted more out of this. That's how much I loved it. Though that can be said about pretty much the entirety of the game. I just want more of everything, but more depth to everything. And this is kind of where the good stuff kind of ends for me. I mean, the overall story in Aigyomon's journey is genuinely fantastic. It was a very classic hero's journey, which is perfect for the Roman theming here. A little clunky at times, but Aigyomon's entire arc, it's whole and it's good and it's wonderful. Everyone else's though, everyone else's story just isn't really great. Everyone else's is just really shallow in a lot of ways, and this especially applies to the side quests. The side quests, they are very one note, and we have way too many of them. I did every single one of them as they came up, except for the arena stuff. And even after getting all my Asian points in and getting buffed, I still kind of felt just barely well equipped for the story mission. So I have no idea how people who skipped these even managed. They feel very important to the actual progression of your power for the game. The actual side quests were very hit or miss, like just in consideration of them independently. If you happen to like the characters they are centered around, I'm sure they'd be more fun. I like Dr. Simmons' stuff and Asuna stuff, but they also weren't really engaging, even though I still like these characters. It's just, again, I wanted more. The side quests that had any pair of siblings were definitely my favorite though, and they were actually really central to the main plot actually. I'm surprised that this stuff was even like a part of side quests. Skipping the ones with the Bearmon bros or Coronamon and Lunamon would just be bad. Like, this is required reading, dude. Like, you're not gonna be able to synthesize your essay on their parallels to Aigimon and Inori without these side quests. I'm surprised that they were not somehow directly integrated into the story, to be honest, because they're actually really, I don't know, I think they're really important to the overall ideas here. As for the rest of the side quests, mostly forgettable. Neptunemon's side quest was really funny. Minervamon's side quest was also really funny. Like, they really just let you hit on the Digimon in this game. The rest of the side quests were not memorable in the slightest. Getting dumped with a bunch of them at the end and the final part of the game was also just like way too much, and I don't think it helped with the pacing. I mean, it made sense that there wasn't too much to do during the main bulk of the story, then it would be really bad for the pacing to throw them all in there, but for the end game, it just slowed everything down. A lot of these subplots were really just very silly, especially the ones that didn't have Hiroko in it. They were boring and they honestly felt like they could have been scrapped. They felt like more like they were jammed in for the sake of balancing the character's AP gains rather than any actual development. I'd much rather have the side quests actually explore some of the other characters, especially since there are so many dropped plot lines. This is where the game really hurts me. I mean, some of these characters really just fell apart at the end. Like, what happened? There were so many dropped plot lines or disjointed storylines. It was bad. Every time Digimon comes out with a game, it's like they purposefully market themselves to tell the edgier story that other creature collectors won't touch. But then when it comes time to actually do it, they don't commit. If anything, the dark stuff is the first stuff to get dropped. I'm not saying you gotta like full send it into grim dark territory, but for the love of God, at least finish what you start. Ugh. One big example is not even a side quest, but an actual story mission, which is the Venusmon plot in the second part of the game. When you first fail to save Neptunemon, she is freaking out because she is the one who poisoned Neptunemon. Everything about the scene makes it obvious that she did this on purpose. After learning that Neptunemon was the Divermon that she'd saved all that time ago, she literally says, "What have I done?" and then, "How could I have been so wrong?" She is having a freak out with the truth that she is the one who poisoned the Digimon that she had saved so long ago. She feels completely guilty for her actions because she is guilty. And then when you go back in time and successfully undo all that and save Neptunemon, they make it seem like it was completely all Lanamon's work, that Venusmon had no responsibility in this? This is completely inconsistent with the first version of events, where it's pretty much outright stated that Venusmon deliberately poisoned Neptunemon. Like, what? I mean, this is honestly just a plot hole in my opinion, but it's egregious. It's a theme in this game where they set up one story and then somehow they take it to a conclusion that feels very out of place or just completely drop the entire idea. The human characters have this the worst. Their storylines are straight up butchered. Like, Inori's dad is the biggest victim of this. Misono Kosuke, I genuinely thought he would have a much bigger role in this story, especially with how they frame him in the beginning. As a man who has been hurt, he is overprotective and extremely critical of public safety and how they work. It's like he hates how they act as mediators. It's like he hates how passive and ineffective they are. And that directly comes from his past losses. And then there's his entire meeting with Yuki.
しかし昨日は大変だった。位相電子生命体デジモンだったか。実は私も訳があって一般人が知らない情報に詳しくてね。位相電子生命体って単語を聞いたことがある。しかしあんたは私以上に詳しそうだ。一体どこの組織のものだ？
His suspicion toward the agent in the opening segments of the game make it very obvious that he has his own agenda here. It's clear he will follow his own convictions to protect what he loves. I like it. I like these ideas a lot. Good stuff here. It makes it seem like his character is one to keep an eye on. But he's largely absent in part 1 after that entire introduction. He comes back in part 2 and he comes back in a bad way. He has basically gone to the dark side. It's great. I love it. He's been traumatized again by the disappearance of his last remaining family member, and he's gone full on into the revenge subplot. He's the one responsible for creating that giant mech weapon that's going to kill all Digimon. He's the one who directed the capture and torture and experimentation of Digimon. It's fantastic. The big villain of the human side of the story is going to be Kosuke, Inori's very own father. After the level-headed Captain Kuremi has been hospitalized, Kosuke has come in and filled up the power vacuum, and he has become captain in his place. And Kosuke's got some lackeys that actually believe in his mission too. He got Dr. Kuga and Kuroi, who have personal grievances against Digimon and Dr. Simmons respectively. It's a bit rushed, not very fleshed out, but I do love how things have escalated so far since the time jump. I'll take it, I love it, it's great. We are going to parallel Aigyomon's conflict with his progenitor, directly against Inori's conflict with her own father. Except, this plotline with Kosuke doesn't go anywhere. I really thought that Kosuke was going to be the one piloting the giant mech. It would have explained the opening cutscene where that evil machine is looking and reaching for Inori. I thought this was all leading up to Kosuke being the pilot of the giant weapon. That's like classic JRPG shit, okay? You either fight your dad or a god, or fight your dad who is also a god. I mean, I guess it still kind of happened with Chronomon, but like, I wanted to also fight Inori's dad, okay? But it didn't happen. Nothing fucking happened with this at all. Here is how it plays out instead. We go to the lab to confront Kosuke about why he's doing all this. He tries to capture us. Inori stays back to try and reason with her dad. We escape. The plot escalates from here like crazy. Inori gets sucked into a time hole, Aigiyomon goes berserk, we unberserk him, Jupitermon happens, Inori returns to us, and then we start trying to save the fractured worlds. And in between restoring the worlds that are all busted up, we get some communication from Asuna. We get like 2 lines saying that Kuroi and Kosuke have had a change of heart because a Digimon saved Kuroi. And Kosuke apologizes. Off screen. That's her message to us. That's it. That's literally it. There is absolutely no mention of him experimenting and torturing countless Digimon for his goals. Like, he doesn't even say the sorry himself. It gets passed on by a character that he has no personal relationship to. This is where I started to hate this game. I was pissed. They completely robbed me from a payoff that I was waiting for since the demo introduced Kosuke months ago. Misono Kosuke's plot for revenge completely falls off the map, and it's resolved off screen with an, "Oh yeah, I saw Digimon save my employee, sorry about all of that." Like, you tortured them. What do you mean sorry? Weren't you going to be an important character moment for Inori? Weren't you going to be the direct evidence of the consequences of clinging to the past? Weren't you going to be a direct contrast to Inori, who is learning to move on? Was that not what this was all setting up for? No? Okay, I guess. Fine. Whatever. It was a whole big nothing cake. In just 1 line from Asuna, they just completely wiped out Kosuke and Inori's entire plots completely. Just gone. Utterly worthless. Not only do they completely remove any opportunity for Inori and her dad to actually have a heart-to-heart, they reduce Kosuke's hatred to something utterly shallow. Like, really? That's all it took for you to give up? Like, this random Digimon saving a dude you don't seem to have a personal relationship with? Alright, fine, whatever. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this game, it dangled this little idea in front of me hours and hours and hours ago, and I got mistaken ideas about a resolution and character developments. Maybe it's my fault, but in the moment, I genuinely kind of resented the game for this, for not meeting my expectations here. But I moved on. Kind of. Still kind of bitter, but we have to finish the game, okay? As long as it doesn't destroy Aigiyomon's character, I was fine, I guess. And it didn't. It didn't destroy his character. It destroyed the agents instead, which is crazy because the agent doesn't even have a character. Oh, now here's where we get into my biggest gripe with the game. Or I would if this wasn't already long enough. I want to talk about Yuki and their role in the entire game, but I also want to maintain some level of love I have for this game. And thinking about Yuki as a character actually kind of legitimately depresses me, like in a real world sense, not even in a meta sense. Like their character, like their entire being, makes me kind of sad, which is probably weird because I honestly didn't really expect to get attached to this character as much as I did. So maybe I'll come back to my thoughts on that at some point. Like what I thought their story was going to be, that direction they were taken. I have pages and pages of notes on it, more in my literal physical notebook, and it's a little bit disheartening actually. In some ways, I feel I was robbed from a story that could have been even greater than what it was. So instead of talking about that, I just want to close off with the story of Aigiyomon, because that is actually what this game is really about. Aigiyomon, his story is the perfect depiction of a hero's journey. This game, Time Stranger, it's really about him, his growth, simultaneously the birth of a god and the coming of age story for a child. I mean, there are still some times where I feel like his bond to Inori is a little bit underutilized. They could have used some more scenes together of just doing normal stuff, but overall, his story is just really well told in like the grand scheme of things. He's born not knowing who or what he is, knowing nothing. He's scared, he's lost, hurt, wandering around as Ilekmon. He comes to grow attached to his human partner who saved him, gets to learn about the human world that he was born into. He learns he has a great destiny as the great savior of the digital world. He comes to reject his destiny, choosing a human over the digital world. He flees from his responsibility, and then he learns to control his powers. He begins to think he can use them to give back Inori's family. He uses them for selfish reasons, his own personal wishes. Things fall apart. He loses Inori. He goes berserk. Goes through timeline after timeline, trying to fix things, never able to go back to how things were. Lost, the agent comes in to help him find his way, and this is where Aigiyomon finally accepts his destiny as the great savior. He goes through every single zone, saving and lending his strength to the digital world. And then he gets to confront Chronomon, his progenitor, the person that made him and molded him into what he is. And Aigiyomon rejects that greater purpose that he was made for. He's come to understand what he has to do to really fix this whole mess and to fix the problems that was caused by someone above him. And in the end, he gives up staying with his human partner to fix it all. it's a very bittersweet ending to his character because he wanted to be by her side. He really didn't want to be doing this. He wanted to protect her, sure, but obviously he wanted to be there with her too. It's just so sad, man. He's a very, very sweet character. He had nothing. He gained a family, but he had to leave it all behind to do what he had to do. And he made a choice. It was a deliberate one for himself this time, and it took a lot of time to come into it. I loved it. I loved it a lot. Time Stranger may have done a lot of things weird and wrong, but they served Aigemon's story really, really well. I don't think I've ever liked a single child character in any video game from beginning to end until I met this guy, little Aigemon. I'm really glad that his story is so complete and then he got to grow as a character. This game has soured me on so many things, but yet at the end of it, when the credits roll, when I saw my Digimon running along, I was actually really sad that I couldn't play more of it because I wanted more of it so much, but I'm glad to see what I did get to see. Time Stranger was Aigemon's story above anything else, and his story is just something I'm so glad I got to witness.